So unless you're living under a rock somewhere, I'm sure you've seen the drone sightings in New Jersey, all over the East Coast, like throughout military bases, everything, even over Trump's Mar-a-Lago golf course. But now they're on the West Coast too. Now there's sightings over California. I had to come to the cave and see what's going on, man. This is ridiculous. Let's see, man.
Hi, you two. Good morning. Well, we know that in the past week or so, the FBI has gotten more than 3,000 tips on drone sightings. And as you said, the majority of them have been on the East Coast, but we have seen some here in California as well. Now the public and officials want answers.
We all want answers.
It's a bit embarrassing. I think the real issue is, let's assume that this is innocuous, but look how vulnerable it presents us.
The sighting started late last month in New Jersey and other northeastern states such as New York, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut. Even spotted.
Look at that. Don't think of no small drone you can go to order off Amazon or go to, I don't know, Best Buy and get somewhere. Not like drones people just have in the park and taking pictures. This is these are the size of a goddamn taxi cab or something.
Here in California.
Look at this thing moving, and it's reported that it's moving up to 60 miles an hour. Some local police departments and things like that don't have drones that can move faster than 40 miles an hour. They got 60 miles an hour, and we don't know what they are, and there's multiple of them, and nobody shot it down yet. I seen another video we're going to watch after this, but this is crazy.
Yeah, and there are concerns. New Jersey officials say the drones have been spotted over infrastructure, the electrical grid.
Look at how many fucking drones it is. You can see them. They beeping. That's drones. If y'all think those little dots in the sky aren't drones, that's what they saying. They look like stars. Who can afford this? What person, this many drones, and yet have them all up? How many people would this take?
Grid, reservoirs, and even military installations.
You can see they're very large. They're not the size of a commercial airliner, but they're the size of a vehicle.
Yeah. See, this is what most people thinking about when they think about drones. They ain't talking about this size.
And here in California, a Chinese national who lived in Northern California was recently arrested at San Francisco International Airport before boarding a flight to China. He is accused of flying a drone over and taking photographs of Vandenberg Space Force Base. Former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan shared this video of what he believes were dozens of drones over his home, about 25 miles from Washington, D.C. And this video captured by New Jersey Senator Andy Kim and local law enforcement. They recorded what they say were clusters of drones over Hunterdon County.
Clusters, not just one kid playing games, clusters. Could this be aliens? Is it another country just oh, you know what? The U.S. and their states, it really ain't got no protocol, no standard operating procedures when it comes to drones. There's not a drone task force in each state to knock these drones down. So let's just it's like a vulnerability, and we oh my God, we ain't prepared for this. It's about to be 2025, and we actually have to have drone protocol. This is crazy.
Now officials want support from the FBI, FAA, and Department of Homeland Security.
It is very common for individuals who think they see drones to actually see small aircraft.
Right now, there's just no indication that this is some sort of foreign malign activity or, in fact, even criminal.
The FBI and other agencies are investigating.
See, this is why Biden administration got to go. Or criminal. We're not asking for it to be criminal. We're not asking for it. He's there's no indication there's another country. Or this is criminal. How about we take the fucking drone down? You can't even be too loud in the middle of the street or something because you causing a nuisance, right? What the fuck is you doing in the sky? These things are in the sky over multiple states. If this is a single person doing this, then Elon need to get the technology from him to help his rockets or some shit. Because these things are big. They look like they can transport a person in these motherfuckers. What drone is that? Think about it. He's acting oh, it's no criminal. It's not another country. Okay. So who in the United States is just at home building taxi-sized drones? Because this person needs to be a billionaire. Elon needs to make a Tesla out of this, and we need to have flying cars immediately if it's this easy.
These recent sightings, saying there isn't any evidence that they pose a national security or public safety threat, and the Pentagon
How do you know if there's any evidence if you haven't even looked yet?
has said after their initial assessment these are not drones coming from a foreign entity or adversary. There are ways these drones could be used without notifying the FAA, as there are federal regulations in place. There are also state and local rules here in California.
Are they following it?
So if there is a drone flying over a house and it's kind of, if it's transitory, if it's moving, then not a big deal. But if it stops and hovers, then that's where local law enforcement can come in, or there could be some violation of law based off of
They're hovering
privacy
over
and harassment.
ammunition bases.
Back here live, officials say that some of these sightings have been manned aircraft operating lawfully, and that others of these sightings, they say, have not been in any restricted airspace. Reporting live here in Hollywood, I'm Erin Myers. I'll send it back.
Yo, that's crazy. I seen the FBI director say something about this. I didn't see what he said. Let me see. Former
Well, joining us right
FBI
now,
director.
a guy who might have more answers for us. We have Rob D'Amico, former FBI supervisor, who also served as chief of the FBI's counter-drone unit. Rob, as I welcome you, I want your reaction to the update the last hour that we were just getting there from Sam about state officials in New Jersey saying anything unusual about this and pushing back on what officials have been telling us.
I think in the beginning, 99+% were manned aircraft, low-flying satellites, planets. They all look to be drones at night, and they think they're at low altitude. They're not. They're depending on the angle and the lights.
They're trying to tell us
we used to get this all the time. Anytime the FBI counter-drone unit went to an event, and let me state, the FBI's counter-drone unit is only for specific events like the Super Bowl, World Series, where we think a terrorist may bring a drone in and weaponize it. They really don't have anything to do with civilian drones like you're seeing. That's FAA. But anytime we told anyone we were there, they'd start looking at the sky like, oh, I see drones. And we had apps that tracked airplanes. And then we actually started bringing stuff to look at planets to figure this stuff out, because people aren't used to looking at the sky. Now, since then, though, with all the hysteria, I guarantee everybody who's got a drone starting to fly them. I grew up in New Jersey. I wasn't, as a teenager in New Jersey, I'd be throwing a drone up and messing with people just to add to the chaos. And I think that's what you're starting to see. Like this, the shot here with over the soccer goals, those are either low flying or satellites, aircraft at a far off angle that you can't tell. And that's what they're saying is the majority of what you're seeing.
But the problem is you can't tell. Even if I'm a foreign entity right now, if I wanted to do harm to the U.S., I'm probably thinking about doing it to some drones because we can't get our shit together with these drones.
In the beginning was that, but now I think people are adding to the chaos. You're going to start seeing around the country because
true. This you don't know if it's like park lights, like those park lights at night, the tall ones. It could be that, but there's enough people seeing them that we need to say something, to come out and say, hey, let's stop the mass hysteria.
People start looking up, they're going to start noticing things in the sky.
Okay, but Rob, the fact that we're not being told exactly what they are, more like, oh, well, they're not a problem. They're not saying where they're coming from, not saying what they're doing. Some people believe these drones actually belong to the U.S. government. What are the chances they are right? At least a portion of them.
I think that's a far stretch. I think if anyone was doing anything, if they were doing anything, they would stop at this point. They would say, if they're, I've heard the testing, I've heard all this other stuff, they would like cease and desist doing that. I think the really outrageous one was that Iran has a ghost ship and they're launching drones in. So Iran's going to fly drones at an altitude with lights on that people can see. That's not good. That's silly to a point. I've now seen all kinds of stuff about UFOs. Every conspiracy theorist now has some take on this. But the problem is it's getting to the point where you saw from a LaGuardia airport the other day, that was 99% was planes in a landing pattern. And now you're starting to see people flying drones by airports, again, to look for drones or cause chaos. And you're going to have a serious incident with a commercial aircraft.
President-elect Donald Trump suggested last night on social media that officials should simply shoot down the drones. Good idea or bad idea?
Oh, that's so bad. when I had the FBI's counter drone team, we could mitigate a drone. We could take it over with electronics and land it so bomb techs could take a look at it. That was a very serious thing to do, because once you start playing with the drone, it can fall and kill someone. So if you have a drone sightseeing where it shouldn't be and you shoot it down and it kills somebody, I mean, what's going on with that? So you have to look at it. I would also, like when we were doing it in New York City for the Thanksgiving Day parade, I would really never take over a drone in New York City, because the ability to fly a drone in New York City, there's a thing called GPS canyons. GPS is so hit or miss in New York City. For me to be able to take a drone and land it where I want, I think was even too risky to do. So saying to shoot down drones is probably the worst thing you can say.
I don't agree with the shoot down and drone. Not if they the size of a fucking car. Then no, you don't do that. You're gonna hurt somebody, and you can't like just shoot it down. It's in the air. It's gonna fall. Debris is gonna happen.
And if someone shoots at a drone, it is the same
bullet,
legally as shooting at a manned aircraft. There's no difference in it. So if you go start shooting down drones, and I've seen videos of it, you might as well be shooting at an airplane full of people. It's the same penalties. So again, it is just irresponsible to start saying all these things. And we, in the FBI, we went to Congress asking them to allow us to train state and locals, because this is not an easy mission. Allow us to train state and locals so they could actually do this on them for themselves.
Let me ask you, even if this all turns out to be absolutely nothing of note, are drones from a foreign country a credible threat to the U.S.?
No. Department of
drones from in here, like somebody starting something from in here, but drones coming from another country and flying into here? No, we got air defense systems and shit. Like, no, it wouldn't even make it across the ocean.
Defense has the ability to track foreign drones, foreign ships off there. They have good drones, but the fact that they're not getting anything from a drone that hasn't already been gotten. Like you talk about, I mean, some of the best drones are Chinese drones. And let me tell you, all that data has already gone back to China. Like that's, DJI drones, there's a whole big talk. The U.S. government's not allowed to use them, but they have millions of drones out there, and they're grabbing up all the imagery that people are flying. So it's nothing they haven't seen before. Some country's not going to get something from a drone. Now, again, if you look at weaponizing it like ISIS did, it can be a terrorist attack. It's not going to have huge effects, even if it's got a grenade. There's talk about agricultural drones being able to spray stuff. That is one of the concerns that we always had. But it's going to be a limited thing. And we've already caught like terrorists like planning other things. So the fact that if you can get into a terrorist group and they start talking about drones, then it's just another typical threat stream that you go to intercept.
Okay. Well, this was a good chat, and I feel a little better having spoken with you, Rob D'Amico. Thank you so much.
Like ISIS did.
Listen, I agree with them. And at this point, the only thing that the government is doing by not saying like, hey, this is nothing, or this is just some people and there's nothing, but more people have thrown up their drones to get a look at the other drones. But you have to say something. You just can't leave us hanging and like, oh, well, don't worry about it. The adults have it, okay? You causing mass hysteria. Now it's reports of drones in other places. So anytime somebody see more than one drone in the same place, they're going to be like, oh, my God, what is that? Because this hasn't been nipped in the butt yet by the Biden administration. But let me know what y'all think, folks.